Next question, Antonio Hollywood LA says, Stevie, Mr. Kennedy, it just says Mr. Kennedy channel, so I'm assuming Mr. Ken Kennedy, said Vince McMahon showed everyone your tape on a VHS tape, your match on a VHS tape, and said this is what ruthless aggression is all about. Now, I believe this is referencing your match with Bob Holly on Velocity, am I right? But then you refused to put over Ken Kennedy. That's right. You've said this on the show before. That's obviously not what happened. That's not what Ken said either on that. So to clarify that straight away, let's nip this in the bud once and for all. Did you refuse to put over Ken Kennedy?
I did not refuse, but I did do something that is just as bad in the wrestling business. I asked a question. Let's go from the beginning. Let's go through the whole thing. And Ken is a friend. And I'm glad that he told it on his channel, on his show. I have to check it out. But basically, Bob Holly and I had a velocity match where I worked the body part on Bob. Bob sold, eventually went over, fought from underneath. Vince thought so highly of this velocity match, by the way, a secondary show that nobody really watched.
I was going to say, are you surprised that he watched it? Because he wasn't watching Heat for 2 years while you were running it.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Maybe I was on the radar and he's like, you better not be doing Stevie Night Velocity. That's probably why. They were probably micromanaging my bookings to see what I was trying to slide by. And he enjoyed a match. He, by accident, enjoyed a match. So they wheeled in a TV with a VCR, put the tape in, made everybody in the talent meeting watch it. Then Vince started reviewing it with glowing admiration, saying, this is what we need. This tells a story. I don't recall him saying this is what ruthless aggression is all about. Maybe during me working Bob, as far as his body part and him selling, but he goes, this is the story I need. This is what I want the shows to be like. I mean, he was over the moon putting it over. And then I walk out of the talent meeting and, obviously you're like, okay, what am I doing tonight? I look up there, I see myself versus Mr. Kennedy, and Mr. Kennedy's going through squashes right now, locals, beating people in 2 minutes. And that was the finish that I was involved with. No fighting back, not 2 to 3 minutes. Counting entrance. So for all I mean, I'm getting beaten a minute, 2 minutes, whatever. And I said, oh man, that's weird. And I said, well, if there's ever a time I'm going to go into Vince's office and at least communicate and ask him for advice and what to do. And like, you think this of me, but why am I in this spot? And I even go that far with asking it in that way. So according to the question, I kick the door and I go, hey, you son of a bitch, come here. And I grabbed him by his collar and I go, I'm putting this guy over for anything. Voluntary. That's what Easter egg from the overseas tribute to the troops trip. There we go. But I walked in. Actually, I even knocked and leaned in. Hey, boss, can I get 5 minutes? And he was still over the moon. Yeah, of course. I really enjoyed that match. That was awesome. He goes, Stevie, you always just, every time we give you anything, you always knock it out of the park. So he's setting me, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely I can ask something. And I kind of outside of saying permission to speak freely, I thought I had permission to speak freely. And I asked him, I go, based off of what you just said and what you said in there, Vince, I'm booked in a match with Ken Kennedy that's going to go 3 minutes total. And I go, I know I can contribute more. I know I can do more. I know you can make money with me. And I'm not coming in here saying I refuse to do this or anything like that. I made a point. What I'm doing is asking you for advice. Coach me up. Tell me what I need to do to really make it and make you money and really fulfill so you can make the money back on my guarantee and tenfold. What do I need to do? And he goes, you need to be a bigger asshole. You need to cut throats. You need to stab backs. You need to show me ruthless aggression, which I guess was a real thing. And I said, well, I mean, okay, but I'm that's not really in me. That was probably where I got buried. I show up, I work hard, I don't get in trouble. I try to respect everybody, and I just want to work and make you money. All I want to do is get booked, not asking to be world champion, but I know I can do more than a 3-minute match where I'm getting squashed. I can work Ken. We can have an angle and a storyline. I could be his first opponent and put him over. But it's got to be something more than this that I can contribute. And he goes, you know what? I'll look into it. I go, but Vince, you own the company. Who do you have to ask? Probably buried once again. He goes, you know what, Stevie, that's a good point. And he goes, I'm going to think about it. And I go, I appreciate you coming in. And he goes, thank you for your time. Shook my hand, patted me on the back. And he goes, go out there and do what you do every night and just friggin', score a touchdown or whatever he said. And I said, thanks. I closed the door and I said, I am so buried right now. I go, I'm fired. I just felt it. Next thing I know, they came up to me 15 minutes later and they said, hey, you're not working tonight. And I said, is that based on a meeting I just had with Vince? Oh, no. They just think that, like, you shouldn't be in a squash match, especially after that talent meeting where Vince showed your match. So I was like, oh, so it might have worked out. Then 4 months later, I said, it didn't work out.
I'm trying to look at how many months you were off.
I think so 3 to 4 minimum.
Right, so that was the Chris Masters thing. I'm just looking here. What year was this?
Oh, I don't even know, dude. This is right after the BWO, as a matter of fact, because I wore the BWO outfit for the first match with Bob, and Vince said, don't ever wear that outfit again when I came back from Gorilla. And next week, I wore the pink trunks against Bob.
Okay, right. So your last match that aired, Booker T defeats Stephen Richards, Velocity 168. Have a guess how many months then before you were in a match?
4.
7.
7?
You were in the WrestleMania 22 pre-show Battle Royal. That was the next match you were in. You there was a CW event. I don't know
and
CW.
Vince got furious with me after that match.
Did he?
Furious. Because he kept saying the most ridiculous thing. We're all standing up there before the Battle Royal, and this was Chicago, WrestleMania 22. Mm-hmm. Everybody was up there, and he was pumping us up. This is your WrestleMania moment. This is your WrestleMania moment. Go out there and capture your WrestleMania moment. Well, I took his advice. I was beating up Goldust and doing whatever. Somehow he tried to throw me out. I landed on the apron. I cut Goldust off. I looked into the hard cam and I went, this is my WrestleMania moment. And then Goldust butt bumped me and I hit the railing and got eliminated. He was hot.
Why?
Because I looked like a total idiot out there saying that.
Isn't that the point?
Yes. I'm a heel. I think because he said it no less than 9 times before we went out there for the most forgettable, like that a boy moment of go out there and you are on WrestleMania, pal. And maybe I turned it into the joke that it was. I don't care. I got my stuff in. How's that?
So you had 2 matches on record in the 7 months. One for weirdly chaotic wrestling when you were still with WWE. And
was that against Hurricane John Walters with the Singapore Cane match? That was when...
It says Arch Kincaid.
Oh, Arch Kincaid was the other one, yeah.
And then there was a Stevie Richards versus Paul Burchill in OVW as well. Davis Arena, Louisville, Kentucky. Right. I've got a couple more fan questions, then we're going to get to a bit of news and what went wrong to finish off the show as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do, I had a couple of follow-up questions. Did Vince put over Bob Holly as much as he did you when he was showing that match in catering? Was it all about you?
No, it put both of us over. I think Bob was off after that, too. I might have got him beat. Aha.
What about also, because Mr. Ken Kennedy, in the video that I saw, he seemed very understanding. And it's like, no, he didn't refuse to put me over. He just said, look, you you just said how great, this is him speaking for you, it's like, you just said how great I was for ages. Why am I losing then? I mean, and he said he had no problem losing. It was losing in 3 minutes that was the issue.
So we were both uniform with the story. By the way, that festered inside. It festered in me, not in a bad way, but it was always in the back of my mind that if I ever saw Ken, and I didn't for many years, we worked Wildcat Sports. There was a bar show called X-Rated. It was like the adult, like an ECW type crowd. So brawls, cursing, all that stuff. I had a match with Ken, and basically the best part was that Luke came up and said he refused to put me over. And I just couldn't stop laughing. So, but when I saw Ken, I said, listen, first off, and he knew exactly what I was going to say. I cleared the air. I go, Ken, I had no problem putting you over. I never got a chance to talk to you. And I told him, and he goes, I already knew that. He goes, I was in the meeting. I saw it, and I knew that. And I go, and I don't blame you. 3 minutes after he just said, you're the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, but that didn't jive. That didn't line up. And I said, I appreciate that. By the way, I have the footage somewhere. During the course of that match, I grabbed a chair. It wasn't the folding chair. It was like the plastic chair, and we were going to do a drop toe hold. And I threw the chair in the ring. It was like one of those old, like grade school type chairs, the design without the desk. I throw it in. It lands perfect the way it is. And I was like, oh, this is weird. It's going to be perfect. I go to position the chair to turn it. Click. The whole seat comes off. The place, as Pat Patterson says, goes banana. It was so funny. Just that, like, I did the John Travolta from Pulp Fiction where, what in the world?